welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be my Project Pan update. So that is a bi-monthly series that I do here on my channel where I have a full face of products and I try to, for the most part, use them all up completely and get some things moving out of my collection. So I'm going to be sharing my progress today, where I'm at with all of my products. If that sounds good to you, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I would love it if you stuck around. But with all that, let's just get started going over these products and showing you where I'm at. All right, so as always, I have most of these on my face today. Everything that I'm wearing is listed down in the description box below. I'm very, very excited. We actually have some rollouts today. I feel like I'm starting to see some good progress on some long haul items that I've been working on, which is it's just really motivating to see. A few months ago, I was just feeling like I was gonna have some of these products in here for who knows how long. Now I do this update every other month because I am a little bit of a slow panner, and in between those months, I update you on my eyeshadow project pan. So this is everything other than eyeshadow, and the following month, I'll be showing you my updates on my eyeshadows. Hopefully that makes sense, but we're just gonna get started because there is quite a bit to talk about. It is similar to a rolling style Project 10 pan. I do have more than 10 products though. It's really just the only project pan that I do to try and just get some things out of my collection. Now we're gonna start in order of application. I'm just gonna pull out my notes here. So for primer, I pulled this in February for my last update, and it is the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. So in February, I used it 9 times. March, I used it 16. So right now, this was brand new. I had maybe 1 or 2 uses. I have 25 total uses, and this is what it's looking like. I will, of course, be kind of in the corner here posting some up-close photos of everything. But for 25 uses, I'm pretty happy with my progress. I definitely think there's over 100 uses in this primer, but it is one of the older primers in my collection and it's time to just get it out. I don't love these types of primers. This is a fine product. It works really well, but for me, it's like I'm just putting another moisturizer on top of my skin, and I find it a little bit redundant. So after I finish up all these moisturizing types of primer, I really don't plan on repurchasing any. So that's why I love doing the Project Pan, because I can focus on them one by one to get them out. And then next we'll kind of go into concealer color corrector. This has been in since October of 2023. And it is my Benefit Boiing Brightening Concealer. I have this in the shade 2 Medium. I use this to correct my under eye circles every single day that I wear makeup, so it gets a lot of use. However, slow and steady. So in February, I used it 15 times. March, I used it 20, for a total, since rolling into this project, 110 times. And I did have prior use on this before rolling it in, because I had kind of been unofficially panning it, and then I decided, like, why not track my uses, etc. So just 110 uses since October, but it had some usage before that. So I don't think I'm even close to hitting the bottom of the jar here. However, I'm just gonna continue to use it every time I do my makeup, and we'll just see how long it takes for me to completely finish up a color corrector, because I think that I have at least 2 or 3 unopened color correctors in my collection to still use up. This next concealer I do use as a eye primer now. It is the Nars Soft Matte Concealer in Vanilla. It fits me now, however, in summer it is a little bit light for me, so that's why I've been using it as an eye primer, and it's actually been working a lot better for me because I rolled this in September of 2022. I have been working on this concealer for over a year now, and before that, for that first year that I was working on it, I really didn't have that much use because I wasn't really spot concealing. I don't necessarily need to spot conceal every single day, so it wasn't getting a lot of love. And now that I use it as an eye primer, it's been getting there, because I also have a backup of this actually in the shade Up, since this is a little bit light. But in February, I used it 19 times. March, I used it 20. So I'm at 111 total tracked uses for this. However, that is just from October of 2023. So there is a whole year of untracked numbers on this, and this is what it's looking like. I'm actually feeling pretty positive about this. I feel like I'm starting to see wear down. While I'm nowhere close to even hitting the bottom of the jar, it is now harder for me to get my finger in the middle. I'm having to kind of go around the side, because if not, I really just poke it with my nails, and like my nails are short. It's not like I have really long nails to really get in there, but it's getting harder and harder for me to put my finger all the way down there. So I think there's actually been tangible just progress that I can really see, and I'm starting to notice that I'm getting closer and closer and closer on this. So that's really nice to see. The next concealer that I have, which I actually use as a concealer, is this liquid Camouflage from Catrice. When I rolled it in, which I rolled it in October of 2023, I had about this much left, and you can see pretty much my marks are pretty consistent from month to month. In February, I used this 9 times. March, I used it 11, for a total of 47 times for less than half of this product. However, this still has product in it. I mean, it's windowing a ton. It does like stick to the sides here. I don't know how much I have left. I don't feel comfortable making another mark without really guessing. However, now when I put this product on, I'm seeing that less product is on the actual wand. Like I actually have to dip in twice, whereas before I barely had to dip in once. Like one time did both of my eyes and I even had product left over. Now I'm having to dip in twice. So I think pretty soon here, I'm gonna take the stopper out, and I'm hoping that I can have this completed by the next update. Fingers crossed, because this is one of the older concealers in my collection. While I love this concealer, it's a really nice one, I can tell it's starting to go downhill, and if I don't finish it soon, I think I'm gonna have to toss it. Like I can just tell from how it wears now that it's just looking a little bit heavy. It doesn't smell bad or anything, but it definitely doesn't wear like it used to. Now for foundation, I don't have as many uses. I try to hit like a soft goal of 10 per item. That's my soft goal. Just that way, I figured if I'm wearing makeup every single day, that's about 30% of the month, and I'm not wearing makeup every single day of the month. So it's really about half and half that I'm using my Project Pan items. I also do shop my stash. I'm also testing out new stuff. So I have to find like a good balance of everything. And for foundation, I did not hit my 10 use goal. I did in February. I used it 4 times. In March, I used it 7. So I've used it a total of 37 times since rolling it into this project in October of 2023. And this is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Water Foundation. I was about halfway done with this foundation, and I really, really loved this for a long time. This was discontinued, so you can't purchase it anymore. It also just like sticks to the wall. Like you can kind of see it like cracking where it wants to fall, but it's not. So I cracked and I ended up decanting it. I just had to know how much was left in this little jar here, because I felt like I was further down than this for the last update, but I really couldn't tell. And I actually broke the dropper. This is a dropper style, and inside I try to put a spatula to see how much product, if I could like really scrape the sides, but it has a little plastic piece in there, so I couldn't do that. Luckily no glass got inside. I dropped this while it was outside of the packaging, just so you know. but I did decant it and now it's completely in this. And it is, I'm going to be very careful. It is very full. It was basically to the brim when I filled this up, and I had to go back on like my Amazon purchases to see how much product this even holds. And I believe that it's 5 milliliters. So you can kind of see, again, I'll have the photos, but I can't really tip it or it's gonna spill. It wasn't completely full, but it was pretty full. So still a while left to go on this. It is a little bit dark for me, which is surprising because I rolled it in specifically since it was a lighter foundation for me. And my last Project Pan foundation was too dark and I needed to switch it up or I wasn't going to use it. So I have been mixing this with this is the Dear Claire's cream kind of foundation, and it's very, very light. So I've been using this and like a dot of that to really mix it in and lighten it up. And because of that, I'm just using less product. So slow and steady, but we are making progress. I think, I mean, 5 milliliters is not a lot when this entire bottle was 30 milliliters. Like that's, quick math here, 50, that's like, what am I doing? That's about 20% of the bottle, which I guess is still quite a bit, but I'm feeling optimistic about that product, and that's all that matters. I don't know, again, just like the concealer, I don't know if I'll be able to finish it before it goes just completely off. I feel like I'm starting to notice that it also is just not laying the greatest on my skin. It doesn't look bad, but it breaks apart a lot faster than it used to. So I feel like this is also one that's teetering, but I'm gonna just try my best to get through as much of it as I can. And unfortunately, if I have to toss it, I have to toss it. That's the way life is, and I can only make better decisions moving forward. But that's the foundation. Let's now move to powder. The powder that I rolled in last update in February. So these were my 2 roll-ins, the last update. And this powder is the by Terry Hyaluronic Hydra Powder in translucent. It's just a mini, it has 1.5 grams. However, I am just the slowest powder user, especially a loose powder. I finished up my pressed powder version of this, and so I wanted to finish up the loose version. This was my line when I started, and I really can't make another line, I don't think. I only use this powder underneath my eyes, so I'm expecting it to last quite a while, even though it has very little product. In February, I used it 7 times. March, I used it 14. So far since having it in this project, I've used it 21 times, which isn't terrible, but I just know like the amount. It has like this little cute puff at the top. So I actually do use this and I just gently press it underneath my eye to powder. So I know like this is gonna last me well over a year, I'm kind of estimating. Now I do have 2 powders in this project. The second one has more of a base to it. It's not translucent, so I can use it all over my face. This is the Mercier Candleglow in 1. I pulled this in October, so I've been working on it for quite a while now. Let's see, that's 6 months now. In February, I used it 18 times. March, I used it 15. So I've used it a total of 55 times since rolling it into this project. And this is what it's looking like. I mean, again, like just feeling really optimistic. It's almost flush. And I think soon I'll start to see a dip. This is a baked product, very similar to the Hourglass Ambient powders. I prefer this over the Hourglass. However, the only con with this is, even though this is the shade 1, like I can't wear it today. It'll darken up my foundation just too much. It does have quite a bit of a base if you're very fair. So I can't wear this every day. What I've been doing in order to get my uses on this is setting my Nars Soft Matte Concealer on my eyes when I use it as eye primer. I've been using it to set the eye primer, and that's helping me just like get it out more and keep it in the forefront of my mind. Because in the beginning, you know, I had 2 uses, 4 uses in November. I wasn't using it all that much because it was darkening my foundation, and this at least it gets me to use it and I don't forget about it. It gets stuck in the back of my drawer. So I'm very happy with the progress with this. Still gonna take me a while, but I'm just glad that I'm finally feeling like I'm seeing just a dip forming, and that's really reassuring to me. Now for complexion products, I have a cream face product here. So I am trying to finish this up completely. Everything that I have so far is to completely finish. This is the Hourglass Illume Sheer Color Trio. Everyone's seen this product for quite some time now. It is the oldest cream product in my collection. Again, why I'm trying to get it out. So for February, I used it 9 times. March, I used it 10. So I have, give or take on each of these, 63 uses per product. So 63 uses on the bronzer, 63 on the blush, and the highlight, it'll be in the photo, the exact, but it's about that. And this is the only one where I'm a little disappointed. I've been saying for probably 2 updates now that I'm expecting to hit pan on one of these, especially the bronzer. It's just, the dip is so big, but it hasn't happened yet. And I'm not specifically digging my brush into one spot to try and hit pan. I really just try to use this how I'm going to use this every day if I wasn't trying to hit pan. So it'll come organically. I mean, I can see really good wear like on the side here for the bronzer. I can even see it in the blush. You can also see like some side here. So I know the product's going down, and once I do hit pan, it'll probably finish up faster than if I was just, you know, digging my brush into one spot. But hoping I can finish this before it goes bad as well. It seems fine, it performs fine. I really like using this. It's great to use pretty much every time I do my makeup under my powder products. So I have no problem reaching for this. Just this, I was hoping to see more progress than I've been seeing. Now for bronzer, I don't have a specific powder bronzer. I instead pulled in my powder contour, the Kevyn Aucoin contour powder in light. So I only use this to contour my nose, but usage is usage, and I will take what I can get. I used this 14 times in February, 12 times in March, and I rolled this in October of 2023. So this has 75 total uses. And, you know, you can see the dip. You can see where I'm putting my brush in. I'm not specifically trying to hit one spot, but it's kind of just happening, the brush that I use for my nose contour. This will take me a long time. I'm quite aware of how long this is going to take me. I do sometimes try to use it as a crease color. If I'm going very minimal with my makeup, then I'll still use my nose contour, but also use this in my crease and then use a highlighter on top. So I'm hoping that'll get just like a little bit of extra usage, but I can just expect this to be in here for quite some time, but that's okay because it was sitting in my collection, not being used. And this is not a product I want to repurchase, but it is a product that I do enjoy using while I have it. Now for blush, this blush is also one of the products that's been in here the longest. I'm looking to just make sure. I brought this in October of 2022, so I've been working on this for over a year as well, and that is my Ciate London blush in Date Night. This is a baked blush, and baked blushes just take a long time. I mean, what can I say? I was really hoping to have the embossing worn off, but not yet, not yet. I do, you know, I'm wearing this today. It's a nice summer blush. I'm happy with this. I also, just like the concealer, have only started tracking uses since October of last year. So there's a whole year of untracked progress on this. But in February, I used it 5 times. March, I used it 10. So I am increasing my numbers. And so far since last October, I've used it a total of 49 times. It could be more, but I have so many blushes. I also don't want to neglect my other blushes to just focus on this one. I'm really just, you know, making sure I get some uses here and there. I do try to use it on days maybe I'm not filming or just light makeup days, get my uses in, and just hopefully slowly I can start to see that pan even out. But this is not one like the Laura Mercier where I'm feeling super optimistic. I'm used to it by now though. This has been in here for 18 months now, and it's just, we're doing what we can. I think the next time I will pick an easier blush. This blush, I am only trying to hit pan on. I am not trying to completely finish it because I've worked on it for a year and a half. I want to, once I hit pan, roll in another blush. The Kevyn Aucoin I want to completely finish. I forgot to say that. Now for highlight, I technically could have rolled this out the last update, but I wasn't super happy with my pan size. It was a little bit small. I wasn't done loving on it. This was a product I was only trying to hit pan on, and it is the Dior Illuminating Lace Effect Highlight, one of my most prized possessions. So here is what it's looking like today, and I am so much happier with this pan. You'll see the progress photos. It just was a lot smaller, and I was enjoying using this, so I figured, let me just keep using it. So in February, I used it 7 times. March, I used it 11. So that's a total of 57 times since rolling it in, and I rolled it in October of 2023. That was like a big reset month for me. I'm happy with this. You know, I did hit pan fairly quickly in 57 uses, less than that because I had pan before, but this is a very, very old highlighter. I mean, we're talking at least 15 years old. So it still works, it's fine, but it is quite powdery, which is why I was able to hit pan so quickly. But this is officially going to be rolling out, and I will be replacing it with a new highlighter to hopefully hit pan on. Let's now talk about my setting spray. I rolled a setting spray in because I have a ton unopened, and I want to just try and work through them one by one instead of having 10 open setting sprays. So the one that I pulled in is the ColourPop Pretty Fresh. I also just don't use setting spray as much as I used to. So this is also to just remind myself to pull it in and use it every once in a while. I'd like to say that this was the worst product I had for this update as far as progress, but it's not. Still a little bit dismal though. In February, I used it 4 times. March, I used it 3. So I've used this a total of 24 times. And I don't think I can make a new mark, unfortunately. Just those 7 uses really didn't do much. I rolled this in November of 2023, so I've been working on this a total of 5 months. I'm hoping with the summertime, I'll use this more to kind of just like refresh my face, less of for makeup, where I try to kind of blend and melt the powders together, and I just use this more like I'm hot, I kind of want something cool on my face, and that'll get some of my uses. But you can see clearly I don't use setting spray as much as I want to, unfortunately. Now, 2 little eyeliners that I have my black eyeliner from Dior, and I'm using this more. I brought in black because I usually would always stick to brown, but I've started to kind of like get into the groove with this. I've been tight lining with it. I've been using it more and more, so I'm starting to be happy with my progress. In February, I used it 8 times. March, I used it 9. Not my goal, but I used to never, ever use black eyeliner. So I've used it a total of 34 times since rolling it into this project, and I rolled it in October of 2023. So here are my progress lines. As you can see, my super dirty notebook here, but I don't have enough to make another mark, unfortunately. However, next month I will for sure, because I'm almost close enough to where I need to sharpen this. So I definitely think I'll see a good jump the next update, but I don't want to sharpen it just to sharpen it. I have like a couple more uses I can tight line with this before needing to do that, but really happy with that. Not a lot, but for me, like I'm seeing progress, and that's all that I can ask for, right? This lip liner though, look at how teeny tiny it is. I am so happy with this. So this is the Dior lip liner in Glossy Pink. I've talked about this multiple times, but this is like the weirdest lip liner. It is so emollient that it really, I just use it as a lipstick. So that's how I've been able to work on this so much. In February, I used it 4 times. March, I used it 9. So I've used this a total of 37 times since rolling it in last October. And here are my progress marks. So you can see, you know, I've used more than half of it, and I'm assuming that this doesn't go down all the way. I have no idea. I've never finished a lip liner before in my life. So 37 uses for more than half of this. It wasn't completely new when I rolled it in, but to get this far, you can just tell how emollient it is. I put a lip liner on and then I just use this to fill my lips. It gives like a nice little pinky lipstick. So I'm happy with this. I'm hoping that by the next update, this will be finished. And then my actual lip product, which gets neglected because I end up using my lip liner since I like the lip liner more than this. This is the Buxom Power Plump Lip Balm in Glowing. I'm using this more. This was basically brand new when I rolled it in. In February, I used it 3 times. March, I used it 12 for a total of 45 times. But you can see like February, to go from 3 to 12 uses, I'm really making an effort to use this just whenever I can. Anytime I walk into my office, I just apply it. It's fine. Like, just get some uses on it. I'm not ready to like call it quits yet. I don't want to ever be like really hate panning something, but I do really want to give this my all. This basically started brand new. It had a dome. It's a very thick lip balm, and I rolled it in October for the 45 uses. So I've been working on this for 7 months now, and here's what I have left. I've maybe used, I would probably say 40% of this so far, but still a lot more to go. I can actually roll it down and see some progress in there. I don't have a new line, unfortunately. I haven't used it that much, but I'm seeing some movement, and I just need to remind myself to keep using this because when I use a project pan, I tend to go for this. And I know that once this is out, I just won't make the same mistake again. I'll pull in an actual lip liner that pairs well with this. So it's not one or the other, it's both for the most part. I only have 2 more things to talk about, and one is my most impressive and one is my least impressive. So let's go with the least impressive first and then save the most impressive for after. My Lily Lashes in Sassy. Rolled this in October. I was hoping to use it 30 times to roll it out. I'm at 4 uses, so let's just talk about this. I've had it in for 6 months now, and I've used it 4 times. So those uses came primarily from October. I used it 3 times. Then November, I used it 1 time. And then since November, so December, January, February, March, I haven't used this at all. So I told myself last update that if I wasn't going to use my false eyelashes, I need to go through them and declutter them, just not keep as many as I have, because I probably have at least 20, and I need to cut that down by at least half. I'm thinking, I mean, really, I should be cutting it down to maybe 5 pairs to just have for whatever reason, but I'm gonna take this out of the project because I'm just not using it. I'm gonna keep it on my desk in my acrylic stand, just so I have a pair that's opened. And, you know, I'm gonna try to continue to reach for these, but there's no point in me tracking uses when it just doesn't motivate me, doesn't, you know, get me wanting to use it. It just makes me feel bad going over this in my update, and that's not what this is about. So I am gonna officially pull this from the project and, you know, go from there. We're just gonna, one step at a time, but I am gonna pull this, keep it on my desk, see what I do. I'm gonna go through my lashes, and maybe just going through and decluttering some of them re-inspires me to try and use lashes more. I did, you know, get contacts. As you can see, they're only daily contacts. I don't plan on wearing contacts every day. I do really enjoy wearing my glasses. However, maybe it'll motivate me to wear some lashes. That's my positive manifesting going out into the world, but we'll just have to wait and see. For now, I don't want to keep going over the lashes and just having a poor update. But now that we've gone over that, let's go over the last thing and my just most impressive. I am so proud of myself. I had this perfume that I rolled in October. This is the Paco Rabanne Black XS. This was my oldest perfume. I bought this when I was 18. I was an au pair for a family in Aix-en-Provence, and I remember going into the Sephora on one of my days off, smelling this every single time I had a day off, every single time I went to Sephora, and then I finally picked it up for myself. I'm 34 now, so that's how old this perfume is, and I was just ready to use it up and keep the bottle. I want to keep the bottle, but just use it up and get it out of my collection. It's way too old. But I rolled this in October of 2023. In February, I used it 8 times, and in March, I used it 26 times to finish it. So here was my lines. You can see, like, I mean, I can't really get this out of there, but here's where I started. And this was the fattest part of the bottle. This is where I was last update, February 1st. So I did finish quite a bit. This was 26 uses, but also remember, like, the bottle got thinner and thinner. I was past the fattest part of the bottle, but I wore this every single day. Sometimes I'd apply it again because it is so old. It faded very, very quickly, but I did not want to bring this with me on my trip. I won't be here at home for the month of April. I'll be out volunteering at a dog rescue. So I didn't want to bring this with me, and I was just determined to use it up. So 26 uses in March had me finish it, and 91 uses had me finish it from here all the way to the end. So this is officially an empty, and I will be rolling in a new fragrance. Very exciting for me. Now that we've talked about all the products, my progress, let's talk about my roll-ins, what I'm going to replace. So we're gonna pick out a new product for my Dior highlighter, a new highlighter to hit pan on, and then a new fragrance. So for my highlighter, I wanted to try and pick something that was gonna be a little easier, not a baked gelée, anything like that. So I ended up picking up just like an oldie but a goodie. This is Nars Fort de France. I love this highlight. It is a little bit stark for me. Like, it is, you know, it'll be a good summer bronzer. In winter, I mean, we'll just have to see. I might have to sheer it out. But my goal is to just hit pan, and then we'll pick out a new highlighter. This is where we're starting. I mean, no dip or anything like that. I've used it. You can see that I've used it. You can see some brush marks in there, but really not enough to create any kind of disturbance at all. So we'll just have to see. I've seen someone else hit pan on this. I'll link her channel down below. I'm blanking on her name, but she was able to hit pan on this, so she can, I can, and I think that this will be a good one to do next. It is one of my older highlights. And for fragrance, I'm actually gonna pull in a body mist. Now this is primarily, again, because I'm leaving for the month of April, like the entire month. I'll be gone. So I didn't want to bring a glass bottle, and I decided to pull in a body mist that was a little bit softer, something that wasn't too pungent. I don't know if people there are sensitive to smells or anything like that. So I wanted something easy, and I need to use some of my Victoria's Secret just mists. I don't have too many, thankfully. Like, I don't have 20. I think I have 2 or 3. And this one is the Almond, Oat Blossom, and Oat Milk. This is for comfort. So I thought this would be a really great fragrance. I doubt I'll finish it in the month that I'm gone. However, this will be my only fragrance that I take. So I think I'll get good use on it, good progress. Even then though, this is 250 mLs, 8.4 fluid ounces. So it's still no joke to try and finish this, but I'm gonna give it my best shot, see how much progress I can do in April while I'm gone. And I think that it's just subtle enough where it won't bother too many people being around more people, because usually I don't have to worry about that. I am not around that many people during the daytime here where I live. I live in the countryside, like 100 people live in this town. So now this is what I'm going to work on, and I'm excited to see my progress. But that wraps up this month's Project Pan. Let me know down below, are you also just a slow panner? Are you trying to even get through things in your collection? I'm not trying to curate my collection to, you know, having a very minimalistic makeup collection, but I do just want to focus on more products and get some things moving out of my collection. That's kind of just my goal. And it's also just exciting to see products that have been loved and used. I love that. Like, it's sad to me now, whereas I used to covet it. I used to covet having like pristine makeup products, this Fort de France highlight like I've had for so long. But now I want to see them used instead of just everything untouched. Like, this is not a museum. This is supposed to be fun and exciting. So I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Do you think I'm making decent progress? I would love to know that. I could use some words of encouragement because I know I can be a little bit slower than other people. I'm going to try not to say that too much. We all just kind of pan at different rates. I'm not mad about it, but I definitely know that I'm slower than some other people. So words of encouragement would be great. But this is where I'm going to leave you all. I hope you're having a great one, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.